Shalom, shalom. I think we have made it. Well, look at here. I got a good surprise here. Those that's in the room, and that is awesome. That's an awesome thing there. So we got. All right. Shout out to the family, the whole house of Israel. All right. I think some of you are on the road as well, and yeah, I got Christina. Okay, a bunch of them, of course. Where we got there, see it there. He is on the road. He's on this road. They are going to some of them second job, third job, fourth jobs, and all those good things. They are all there. So we will miss him again. But I know he's on the road. Maybe he can give us a call in. I don't know. I know they have to be there around 8 or so. My assumption is they're on the road in that. So somewhere in that process, we'll maybe give a shout out, and then he can you could call the other cell phone and get that the one, the number that we usually use, and maybe you could say hello to us. We are definitely. I'm in the process. It seems like something is missing, right? You ever know that when you get used to something and then something's no longer there? I mean, sometimes we appreciate it more when it's not there. So we definitely are be missing the inputs and the he kind of refines me to let me know that if you have questions, and sometimes most times it's questions that others have too as well, right? So all of those things in the process. So I'm so grateful for that, and hopefully that you guys have a safe trip as well as others that goes back and forth. I know that sometimes there are different times of the year that the travel is a little more difficult than others, and so hopefully everyone has had a safe journey and not too much problems and all of that. So I'm so grateful. It's always good to be grateful in that. It looks like we didn't have no hiccups so far. I did the same exact thing. Doing the same exact thing doesn't mean sometimes that we will get the same results, right? But we need to be consistent in what we're doing. But that doesn't always mean that we'll get the same results, right? So wherever you're at in the place, don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep it going, and that'll be a good place to be in. Briefly, I think that these could be separated all by themselves, and it is something that I know those that are at the assembly, it would be something that definitely have heard in a repetition of things, but want you to know that listening is very important, and then practicing, and then we need to evaluate. So I will go down, it's just like a tree with tree branches. The tree is listening, practicing, and then evaluating those things, right? The branches is those little power up moments. That's one of the stems that power up came from, is the fact that you're going along, and some of you may get 2 power up moments, some maybe get 3, some maybe get 7, and some say, well, I wait to the next one. But this is what we are doing, something that builds you up. That's what we are looking forward to, something that will build you up, right? And so it is always good in the power up moment to build up. And then we want to impart some things. And what I try to do is get you to definitely think about maybe some areas, even in my own life. And I will stem from that, of course, my own life being the example that I put forth before us. And so I think that things is very, very important in that. And so we'll try to kind of walk through, and then if it doesn't sort of match up with it, you have a thought process, and then you have a title is what we call it. Something that has been in our hearts, and it should always be in our hearts. Something has, really that I've been dealing with for several weeks. in a focused manner. I seen something several days ago, and it seemed like just like a flood. It has always been around, always in my life. It's just like a puzzle. Sometimes we get different areas, and then when we start putting those together, then it forms some type of picture. That's what a puzzle do. You may have the I remember we should put them together. You may have the box with the picture on it. You kind of sit it up and you look at it, and you try to match up those pieces with the picture. You understand? And so sometimes it takes time for you to get the correct picture that's on the box. But that's something that you look at in that. And they may be a little bit more update. I might be dating myself then, but that's how you do it. You would put them together. And so that's even in my heart is somehow that the power up can be just a little puzzle piece that you probably could put together. Nothing that I don't have no great revelations here. But what I do have is maybe a piece or two to try to get you to see something that if it fits, because in puzzles, you can only place them in a certain way that they'll go in. Now, I know there was time when I was doing it, I think I forced a couple of pieces. But when I forced a couple of pieces, then what I did was I had to pay for it later. So that's part of the listening and the practicing, right? Is the fact that if you try to cut corners, so many times we try to cut them corners. Sometimes we have to redo the whole puzzle, or it's going to get us. At the end of that, it's not going to fit because one piece of the puzzle, then you can roll with it. Say if it was I don't know, an ocean, then the ocean, we'll say is blue. Well, you got two blues together. But in the puzzle, there's a deepness even in the puzzle because they are cut out a certain way. And that's the reason, that's the challenge, is putting them in the right way and in the right hole and all of that. So when you force it, and when I was younger, it would make me frustrated because I want to do it quicker. And sometimes with the puzzle, the smaller the pieces, then the more difficulty it could be. Sometimes if you have big pieces with just, 10 piece, big piece, you can do it. But when they get into the 500 to the 700 to the 1,000 pieces, guess what? They get smaller. And so sometimes it takes a lot of practice to do that, right? And so this is what we are trying to do, is to make sure that which we get, that we put in the right pieces. And our whole life is something like that, trying to put in the right pieces in that. And so when we are listening, this is how we need to do, and we need to start practicing. In order for us to grow, in order for us to know what tomorrow, and if the Father give us breath again, then we be able to see that. And if he allow us to see tomorrow, what you have listened to today, what you have practiced today, guess what? You're going to carry it with you tomorrow. And so hopefully that we're going to maybe tap on some things. Maybe it can be some good things that you took, but you're going to carry it with you. And you're going to carry it with you. And we're going to look at it as being some, a positive thing in here. And we'll have some different branches that we'll talk about here. But sometimes in our listening, knowledge is sometimes it is not, maybe my problem. That's not the problem, So we listen because this is going to be active. It's going to have to be active in what you're doing. When we listen, we think automatically. Some of us think and obey. Is that right? But we, having the knowledge is not the problem. I think that where that problem come in, we get it. I'm gonna put the knowledge up there with that listening, because we know that's the obeying. But if we take this English here, we see that the listening, we have that. And then acting is the problem sometimes. So I know what I should do. This is something that I think all of us, and we go down so many avenues in that. We know exactly what to do. You know, we know exactly what to do and what we should do. We just don't do it. We just don't do it. Whatever it may be. Now, we're not, the challenge tonight is just to look in different areas. And the challenge is to build it up because we are all, everyone that's listening to my voice, we all would be there, right? We all would be in a spot like that, in that. So we would all be there, right? And that's good. That's always a good thing. Okay, I thought he was calling here. It's always a good thing in that, right? It's always a good thing. So we all, that's something I want to really, as I look at, no matter what we do, all of us is the same way. All of us is the same way, right? We just don't do it. Now, that's something that I, say that, lay in my bed and meditate on. What is it? Why is it we just don't do it, Father? I know exactly what to do. I listen to those things. Then I need to put those things into practice because those things develop. They develop, you see. And then I need to evaluate those things because I'm going to carry it into the next day of what I did yesterday. So today is when I say in tomorrow, all that it was something today. It was something that me and you enhanced in. It was something new, maybe. And maybe it was all of those things. Now I'm going to take that with me. I'm going to take that with me. I think we were saying learning from your mistakes and had a little encouragement in that, didn't we? But I'm going to take it with me. And so when whatever I had today, I'm going to take it with me. And hopefully it was good. Hopefully it was good. Because if it was not, then I still going to take it with me. And so disobedience sometimes will render our life powerless. No matter what those say, if we continue to be disobedient, don't listen, don't practice, if we don't do those things, right, then you're going to be powerless when it comes to the challenges of life. The scriptures and the word and all of that, all of those things are there. But it's going to come a challenge in this, right? It's going to be a challenge. And so we're going to have a challenge in that. And I'm using it powerless, right? It's going to be that. That's the reason it's so important that we be obedient. And that's what that listening is. But through it all, I always, when I was thinking about this, I'm saying listening. And then I practice if I just take my own life and I'm trying to look at those things. Why is it I just don't do it? Why is that? Why is that? So I need to, I got to find these things out. You understand? Not the same thing. At least let it be a new thing, huh? Not the same thing. What is it? What is it? Because along with listening is obeying. And so what I have found out sometimes is the step of listening and all of the knowledge, you got the knowledge. But when you really, really obedient, then you are putting it into action, in that. We put those things into action, you see, because we can hide. Now watch this. We can hide behind the wall of words. We good with our words. I mean, if our words were just words now, with no action would do something, I think many of us, we could be a lot of things. We could be millionaires by saying it. We could have this by saying it. We can have that just by saying it, right? But it takes action with it in order to do that. And I think sometimes it's easier to say than it is to do. And what I mean by that is we say something quickly because we know that we're not going to do it. Right? We already know we're not going to do it. I can say it, but I'm not going to do it. But in the things of the Father in the covenant, until you do it, you ain't did nothing, right? You have to be able to do to back your word up. Is what we call it. Other words, your word has to be action. So I have to see those things. And so I can't hide behind the what. I mean, my wall of words can look good. I mean, some of the we can put them together, right? And all of that. And so those things, because the words, if I follow my words, I can be pleased by my own words. Did you hear that? I can be pleased by my own words because I'm hearing. I mean, I can sound real good. But if it's not in practice, if it's not, and I'm gonna put it like this: if the reality of it is when you're doing it, words are just words. You understand? Other words, when we are born, right? When we are born, right? None of us is born with a native tongue, whatever you were born in, right? Or wherever you was born at, should I say. You never, if nobody teach you a language, you won't get it. So if everybody's around you that doesn't, say doesn't speak words, right? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You have to be taught that. We must learn that. And so we learn that what in this context of listening, practicing, right? Listening, practicing. So we have to obey those things. Now, most times today, I had Mahalalel, the little man at the at the assembly. They had stopped by, right? And one of the things that reminded me of this, and I was saying, wow, it's powerful because this is sometimes I was thinking even, in our lives about, how we serve in the Most High. His vocabulary, right? He does not know. Now, I want you this is going to be good here. And so this might be one of our power moments, right? Even from the little ones. That's reason we always have to be paying attention, right? We always have to be paying attention of when the Father speaks to us. I know we thought it was in the prayer when we was, and all of that. And yes, he does, right? In those things. But you have to be able to look. We won't go down too much down there. That's another one. But what he did, what is I can tell him words. He cannot say the word, but he obeys the word. So he knows what the word means, but he couldn't say it. So if I said, if I was to tell him he at this particular time, anyway, if I'm telling him to go, go to his mama or go to your mom and sit down or something like that. He can't come back and say, you want me to go to my mama and sit down? No, he can't do that. He can't say that. He can't put no sentence together. But you know what he did? When I told him that, right? I told him that. I didn't tell him that as a goo goo gaga go tell yo. No. I told him, I spoke to him, right? But he couldn't repeat nothing. But it blessed me because this whole thing just came together, right? This whole thing just came together. And I was thinking about it because he reacts and not even really know. He can't really speak. He knows what he should do because he heard it before. But he reacts to it, He reacts to it. He heard maybe the tones of it. He's putting everything together because he's listening. But if he would just stood there, then I would have to repeat it again. But he had heard it before. He's learning these things. He heard it before. And so he react. But if I asked him, did you know what I said? He couldn't tell me. Right. And so and that's how we have to do when it comes to the things of the Father. One of the things we have to do, excuse me, is regardless on what goes on, right? Regardless on what goes on, we have to follow the word. So we listen to it, then we have to do it. Now, I may not communicate with you later, Dr. Now, be the greatest theologian of all times, but I can react. And that's where we have to get in a place is that we'll be able to react in that, right? So none of us is born, again, with that native tongue. right? So we have to, whatever it might be, we're going to have to develop. Somebody going to have to teach us. And then we have to be relearn things and relearn things. And then add words are added to us. So whatever you are in a sense believing now, whatever it might be, that's what you are following. So if you want to know really what you believe, go home, look around, right? Go in your yard, look around, look at your clothes, look at the food, look at all of the things that you do. That's what you are believing, because that's what other people see. Regardless on what you say, that's what they see, right? So if you look around you, and some people will go on what you're doing, just what you got around you, right? And no intent of expressing myself or trying to disregard anything, but this has just come to the top of my head. Is how do you know somebody is a hoarder? So I look at some of those programs where they have people was hoarding over the years, right? How do they know that? They know that by what they see, right? So you go into somebody's house that is clean or doesn't have a lot of material in it, right? We would call that clean. So in order for you to be a hoarder, you have to set a certain definition. But that definition is just not in the book. That definition is what you do. That what makes you that. So when we see it, we say, "Oh, they hoard and all of that," And I didn't seen it before, right? Personally too. So because I just don't go on the movies, right? Go on what the shows. Don't do that. Somewhere you don't have to see everything personally, but it always is good to be more solid when you see it. That I guess that's a side note. But what I'm saying is that's how it is. That's the action of that. Now, you can say the person or whatever, sometimes they need help even to clean that up, right? But where I'm going with this is the fact that when you see that, that's what you are label them. So people are labeling us of what they see, whether it's right or wrong, but that's what they're doing on what they know of what it is, So I'm just saying, just about where you dress, about what you carry yourself, and then how you talk. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. Then I ended up in Texas, and yes, I got a double accent in that, in some of my words, right? Then I moved to St. Louis and those different things. But I guess some really really strong accent of what area they may live in, right? So you have those things. But I guess what I'm saying is you can have those things and you can talk those things, but then I have to know, right? I have to see, I have to listen, and I have to see what you practice. And so you have to see what you practice too in that. So in the thing of somebody seeing you and then what you practicing too. So all of those things are together. So the truth about it is not so much of being 100% correct. I know that's what we, kind of flow with in these days, but it's not so much of how correct you're going to be or how correct you are, and so we'll be able to work those things out, and it'd be very, very important in that, right? All of those things will be important, and so we want to continue to do that. All right. So it's about keeping the promises of Yah. So not so much of being correct, but what are you doing? You could be correct in answering a paper and get a 100, but if your life don't line up, something won't work. It won't work. There are many times I would say, I'm just going to use the example here that, got A's, and then when I went out to put my hands to what I just learned, it didn't line up. So in the classroom, I got A's, but physically I was doing it. I could not do it, whatever it might be, right? And I'm just using it. Excuse me. I'm just using it as an example. So I can have the knowledge is what I'm saying and couldn't do it. And it could be vice versa. I could know there's some people get that can do it and they would take a test on it and it'll be a a D or whatever, a failing grade, right? But they can do it. So that means they can do it. That's what that means. The educational system, as we know, wasn't always set up like this. If you can do it, that's what qualifies you for it. Oh, that's a power up moment. Is what you can do is what qualifies you for it. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't do that's in anything. It does no good. I can say mechanics or whatever. I can go and be the top of my class, but when it's time for me to go in and work on your car, I can say I got 100 in engine, right? Putting on engine blocks. I know just how to do it. But if I get in there and can't turn the wrench and this is fumbling and I can't put my hand over here, I don't know this and I can't, it's no good. I do not know it. And I'm trying to give this in the sense of what we are talking about, the things of the Father and the things of the covenant. If we can draw that character and that line in that. Right. So it is impossible to move forward until we really know what we need to do. Right. All of us, we can have the words of love, but if we're not displaying love, it does us the deeds of it is not doing us no good. So in the fashion of this, in the system that we have and in the lifestyle that we have, we need to make sure that those things are there in that. So we need to make sure that. Right. If we listening and then we're going forward. All right. Let me try. I'm trying to see here to the side what I got. So most times what happens is the reason we don't want to listen or practice those things is because we want to frame our own reality. We want to do that. I feel like that's the struggles that we have with it is we want to do that. Whatever makes us comfortable, whatever brings us shalom or peace or prosperity. That's where I want it to be. I want it to be the center of it all, you see. And so sometimes we are willing to adopt those things, willingly to accept those things because things that we desire are things that we want. And so anything that else, we reject it because we don't want it. We ignore it because we don't want it. Right. So we have to have a willingness to do that. We should want what the Father wants for us. Right. And so in order for that to happen, it have to be in that road of humility. We have to have some humility in these things. Right. As we going in that. So that's important as we listening, as we practicing, and then we can evaluate ourselves to know we ought to look back and see that we are growing. Right. In that. And so I had put up Matthew 7:24. Therefore, anyone who hears these words of mine and then what? And doeth them. That's one that we put in assembly a lot. Do it them. And I think we forget that, right? Do it them. So we must turn to humility. We must turn to be humble. And as you're doing that, you doing it. Boy, that's some English there. Well, we can do it, right? We can do it. And sometimes, excuse me here, I don't. I had to give me a little drink. It's again. I can take just that. If I'm thirsty, I can talk about it. This is what I'm trying to get across. I can talk about it, but to quench my thirst, I have to drink. It's something, we say something in my throat. That's an idiom that we use, right? I have to quench my thirst, right? But I have to do an action. I have to drink the water. I have to do that. And I know these things are very, very simple to us, but why is it that I end up doing what I want to do then? If it's that simple, of I'm thirsty, get water and do it, right? If it's that simple, why is it that I don't want, what is it? What is it? And so those are the things that I'm meditating on, and those things that it's not a letdown or a put down. It is, why do I do it in some areas? It's not all areas. some areas. Why is that? Because I know that I want to practice the righteousness of things, right? I know I want to do that. I know I want to listen, but I know that I get it, I have to put it into practice, you see. And then I know one area is we don't know, we won't say it. See, most of the time we won't say it, but we are on a quest for control. We want the control. We still want the control, right? We want that control. But we must be willing to put ourselves aside for the kingdom. And that is the thing, even in the word of Yah, sometimes it comes across when his word comes, we just don't react like the little man did. We just don't react to that. We don't may not understand it. It seems like we want to get all of the understanding first. But what Mahalia did, he made a move before he can even say the words. So sometimes I mean I can articulate the things that I want to say, but it's something that he's grasping, something that he's getting. And so sometimes even in communicating with him, maybe we won't understand. But what we do is his mom was saying that how he was having maybe a bad day, like, right? He just kind of all over the place doing different things. Right? How did she know that? He couldn't tell her that. He couldn't say, well, today is just one of those days and I'm just going to throw stuff. I'm going to tear stuff. No, no. It was the actions on what he's doing, right? It's the actions of what he's doing. And so we have to get that. Somewhere we have to get and understand, know that it's the actions that you're doing. That's when you really, really get it. When you really you say, I got it, I got it. When I was saying earlier about the mechanic, when the grades and what you do, you got it, right? You got it. Because other than that, it's just undone. You have the knowledge of it, but it's undone in that. So we have to stay there because we have to build us to really be free, is to serve the things of the Father. That's what makes us free. There's freedom in that, right? It makes us free according to that. You see. So when you have to, I'm gonna get ready to close this. A man or a woman, whatever, when you learn anything, right? You have to have a willing heart to even be corrected in that, right? You have to have a willing heart for that. And so that would help you in your listening. It'll help you also in when we practice in these things. But those of us as individuals, right? We have to do that. Evaluate yourself. Not to evaluate to enhance. Not to we call them pity parties and all that. I'm talking about to enhance those things. What is it? Can I get better? Sometimes in the when you take a test or whatever, you know what you didn't know, and sometimes they have practice tests before the main test. They want you to practice those things, so you practicing. So in order for us to continue, other words, humbleness just don't come because I woke up one morning and say I'm humble. No, 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 no. That's an ongoing process. Day after day, month after month, year after year, century after century. It's ongoing. It's ongoing, right? And so that's something that we can do in that. Before I get ready to close here, I wanted to. It was something that I did have down, and I don't know if I wrote it down. Let me see. We are strolling. It is possible. I think that I had my brother. I don't know if he still can call. I think he had a call. I think we could give him a call back here, see if he wanted to give us a shout out. I don't know if he's where they quite at. Let's see. Let's see.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, my brother. You on the road?
Yes, sir. I
All
got the
right.
whole family with
You
us.
got to. All right. Okay. Okay. You packing then. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Let all of them give a shout out. Go ahead and. All right.
Shalom.
All
My
right.
third passenger is in her own world, I guess.
Yes. Yes. Shalom. Trying to get some rest in before the night starts, huh? All right.
Oh yes, sir. We're on the road again.
Yes, yes. Did you like to have an input or a question? I know you're not here with us, but we missing you on that. So
I'm missing you too, Morris. This is a change up for real.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I I'm just blown away by how all of it came together. I still am in the listening session, but from what I heard, you must have been eavesdropping today, especially on that line you said about having the knowledge, but then having the experience. Like that was awesome. I was so excited to hear you say that because that's exactly what I was talking about today. But I did catch something that you had said that when you were talking about Mahalalel, and you were saying how even though he doesn't really have the fullest understanding to the point to where he can, like you said, he can speak back to you or articulate the words that he heard, but he still understood it. And I was wondering, it that would when we're experiencing the feast days or the things of the Father, that's kind of how I was looking at it. So when we're talking about the commandments, it's like eat unleavened bread. It isn't going to take a lot of deep understanding, to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, so just eat unleavened bread for
Mm-hmm.
7 days,
Mm-hmm.
or like the seventh day of the week, have a rest, and a set apart assembly. So I like how you were putting that there because it doesn't take any deep input. It just takes the action behind what was commanded.
Right, right, absolutely. And then along with that is other areas of our life, because a lot of times we won't do something unless we just fully get 30 scriptures and in a
Oh
thesis.
yeah,
You understand? So if the Father says it, then we need to do it. So then we need to start practicing it. If he
yes
said it,
sir.
then we need to start practicing it, and then it will develop. And then one time we will be able to, we'll get more information. Because correction is ongoing. Ongoing correction. So, other words, I call it. I like to use, adjustments. In that. Because only somebody is wrong to the next person that is right. So it's an ongoing alignment that we need to do, ongoing.
I mean, and I'm definitely gonna have to put that into practice because it hit me when you were saying that. So I'm very grateful for this power up, but so much it was in the house for sure. So I definitely believe we'll be able to eat of that and learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just thanking the Most High for all that he does for us. And I'm just so grateful. And I want to be that person. I want to be that person that will take those things into tomorrow with me. Why I'm doing the same struggles, why I'm doing the same thing that I want to do, why there's a reason for that, in that. So we have to be able to be you know be more assertive in what we are doing, more practicing in what we are doing.
Yes, sir.
Anyone that, like I said, listen to us, if we never said a word though, would they know by just what they see around you? So if I take a walk in your yard, in your house, if I read some of your books, if I go through your what I want to say, your I don't know, videos or whatever, what is it? Would those things tell me the real story about you? That's what I'm saying. It is the doing, and so that's where I kind of was going with that, in order to ongoing valuation, in that. And so it's a upbuilding moment for us, because we can do it. We can do it
Oh
because
man.
we want the Father to use us, and in order to be used, then we have to be in a place where He desires for us to be. you know. And I always want to be able to, to have those things there. I never want to be say, oh, I wanted, he wouldn't. I'm just saying, this is just me. Oop, I wanted to use them, but I couldn't, in that. So anytime that I'm gonna get ready to any one of the things that I had down. Every failure is not the lack of faith. So when you have failures, it's not the lack of faith is that, right? So 'cause we don't worship success. See, some people worship success. So don't hear that as what I'm trying to, say trying to put out there or trying to do. That's not what I'm doing. We worship the creator of the universe is what we do. Right.
Oh
So
yeah.
those failures is not that's the practice field. You understand? So some people say, "Oh, I'm successful, and I just got to get successful, and I just need to be successful, and I got to have, I can't never do nothing. I got to be successful, and wait, hold it. We trusting in the things of the Father because He's the one that gives us the measure of belief or faith. Some people will say, right? He gives us that measure that we need in order for us to survive. He would cause us, if we have a desire, He would cause us to work, to walk out His commandments, to walk out the things that He needs us to do, right?
I mean,
And so sometimes, we have a different. Here's another thing that I wanted to even say in that. Are y'all about where you need to be?
oh, we're still on the road.
Oh, y'all still on? Okay.
Yes,
Here,
yes, sir.
okay. Here's a thing that I want to say, and maybe we'll end with this. One of the things is when I was thinking about the things of the Father. One of these things, now this might be a branch that what I'm talking about from the tree. I don't know what it has to do, but we'll see. If I give you a car, anybody, I'm just saying, if I give you a car, I never think about, see, when the Father gives us gifts, He gives us gifts. If I give you a car for a gift, right? I just gave you something that can kill you.
True.
You understand? So when He gives us gifts, sometimes I think that this whole thing that we got before us is a gift, and it's a good gift. So it's not so much as the gift that is right or wrong, or bad or evil, if you want to say it that way. It's not the gift; it's on how you use it.
It's misusing the gift.
It's
Yeah.
misusing it, right? So the same thing, the same thing that can get you guys to work, can the same thing that can in your life. And I gave it to you. And so if I gave it to you, but I gave it to you in a good thing. So the Father always gives us good gifts. He never gave us things that's going to harm us, right? So if we use things and we give gifts to people, like I say, sometimes you can give a gift of a weapon to protect themselves, right? But they could use that, or somebody else get a hold to it in their family and play with it and accidentally shoot their own self. So sometimes we are blaming the Father for all of these things, and all He has done is just give us good gifts. That's all He has done. He gave us His word. It's a good gift, right? He gave us the covenant. It's a good gift. He didn't give us New Testament and Old Testament. He gave us a covenant. He never gave us that. So where did we get it from? He gave us a covenant, something that was good, from Genesis to Revelations at this time that they had canonized. Hallelujah. Right? It's good. And so I want us to realize that it's how we're using the gifts that He's given us. It's not the Father's fault. Sometimes we think we want to put the Father on blast, right? He gives us good gifts. Anything that we have is good. Trees are good. Grass is good. What do we have done to it? Yes, yes. What have we done to it? So what is it that we have done to it? You understand? What is we done to it? So don't blame the Father for the good gifts that He has given us, and I'm so grateful. And so what He's given us, He give us His Torah to make sure that we can follow through. That the gifts that He given us, that this is how we can walk those things out, in a good way. And if you don't walk it out, then there's gonna be trouble, right? So I can give you a car, and I say, well, as long as you, in this sense, right, as long as you wear your seatbelt, you pay attention and all that, you get you get your skills and all that. If you do it properly, then you can get to point A to point B, right? All things being equal, and I'm using that for an example. There's so many other things that could, but I'm just saying, I'm just using that was there. And so remember that when you give, you can give a gift to somebody, and then they, to a little one, and then he, say you gave, I don't know, say you gave a something real small, and then they end up swallowing it, you know, they end up choking on it. Well, you didn't give them the gift where they could choke on it. You have to use it properly. So I'm just saying, start saying that we need to see how to serve the Most High properly in the good way. And maybe this will run over to something else, but we need to follow that. So if nothing else today, as we listen, as we practice these things, that is my heart. My heart is we need to find the gifts that He given us, and then operate the way that He desires for us. And the way that you do that is to follow His commandments, follow what He gave us. Hallelujah. And then you won't get it though until you start doing it. A lot of times we want to get it. You can see somebody else doing it, but you can't benefit from it. You have to do it in order for you to get the benefit of it. In that. So instead of, go ahead and get in the water. Don't just stick your toe in. Go ahead and get in. Go ahead and get in. Right? Get with a community. Go ahead and get in. Right? Get with the assembly. Go ahead and jump in. Go ahead, jump in. Right? You can do it. You can do it. All right, brother. Did you have some last word? Anybody that's in the car with you, I know you got some more in there. Come on, let pass that, but let somebody else say something. Who else is in there that's not asleep?
Right now. I just got trained. This is really good. I really enjoyed that, and it's something that I've been thinking about too. Over these past couple of weeks, it's like, are we walking out what we say we believe? And then on this job that we have now, really living it, walking it out amongst people who don't have a clue what we even believe, but can they see something that's different in us?
Yeah.
Is this our life? And then, I tend to overthink, a lot of things. It's like, man, did I say that right? Did I do this right? But just thinking about those things like, man, I need to do better at this. Things that I need to do. I know what to do. I just need to do it so that I can have balance in my life. A lot of what you said is just some things that I need to put into practice and really just do it. Just do it. So this was really good. A real good refresher. Praise
Hallelujah.
God.
Hallelujah. Anyone else?
Well, I just want to praise the Most High because even though, like Sarah was saying, those things are in our heart and we know to do them, it's always good to have that bumper. When we come together, then we get to bounce those ideas and those reminders off of each other. So it keeps us in our proper lane. I just think that's awesome and invaluable to all of us. So I praise the Most High and I thank you for your time, Lord. Truly.
Hallelujah. Well, brother, what you?
I'm just what you had said in the category of practicing it. That has always been astonishing to me, and because there's been plenty of examples we've had in the assembly to learn how to practice how to be kind, how to be patient, how to love those who hate you, and it just blows my mind because when you brought up about receiving the gift, So the giver is the one who gets to determine what the gift is, like how to use it. So how are we going to use these gifts outside of the will in which they were given? That just hits me. It really reached my heart to be grateful about what I do see and what I do hear and what I do get to do and practice in the ways of the Father, because who's to say anyone else will or get those opportunities, you know? And I think if we don't consider what we have as a blessed thing, we may overlook the thing that the Father has given us in order to have the encouragement to what you're offering. It's like we already have it, but how are you using it? And that really stood out to me, because I wouldn't know how to understand to do the gift if nobody put it on display in front of me. So like when you were saying these things, all I can do is think about all the opportunities we've seen that, and then even with my sisters right here, I've learned from their love, how to do the particular patience or the acts of kindness that would only be perfected from their heart to help me be built up. And it's like I would have never learned those things by myself. Like what you were saying is on display every day, but are we paying attention, to learn it?
Absolutely. Yep. Hallelujah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, well, I appreciate yet so far away, but still you bless my heart tonight that I got to hear
Hallelujah.
from all of you. So that might something that might ease the pain as as y'all take on to y'all journey, in that.
Oh,
So
yes.
yes, yes. So that's a good thing in that, and I hope that those that are with us and that will be listening, that somehow you might have had a power up moment, and somehow that we fumbled and said something that will give you a place of meditation and give you a place of encouragement in that.
Yes.
So, all right, we're gonna say shalom to you guys and continue to keep your eyes on the road. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shalom.
Shalom. All right, praise Jah. All right, thanks for the whole house of Israel, and hopefully that this has been a good valuation, something that we can evaluate ourselves in, and it's going to be good. Listening, practicing, we're going to put the INGs on it, and doing those things. All right. May your night be a restful shalom.